Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of the Blacklist Season 1, Episode 11, The Good Samaritan. We are back with the rewatch series. Last week we talked all about Mira Malik's daughter apparently coming onto the show this coming season. We got a link for that in the description below if you want to check that out. But now we are dipping back into the past, back when Mira was actually on the show.
Yeah, I wish that we had more season 10 news for you as more comes out. And, we're hopeful that in the next few weeks, more will start to come out as filming starts to kick off. But yes, we are back with the rewatch now and going into the Good Samaritan.
This is an episode that it's got like a few interesting moments that I didn't remember all that well. I mean, there's some good like foreshadowing with Reddington killing Newton Phillips. It's a good example of what he will do to members of his own team, as we see later and later on in the show's run.
Yeah, I mean, he's not had the greatest luck with people on his own team.
This is also a very violent episode, but we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on. But first, hit that subscribe button because, like Jess said, we are hoping to have more Season 10 news very, very soon. Production is going to be starting, it seems next month. So let's hope for a lot more there.
We're also covering Only Murders in the Building. The finale is next week. So if you didn't know we were covering that, it's an excellent mystery show as well. So make sure you check that out. And there's a lot of other really good stuff coming up here at the channel. House of the Dragon, that's going to be coming up. Andor's coming up. Handmaid's Tale's coming up. There's a lot. Lord of the Rings coming up. So much good stuff. So hit that subscribe button.
Okay, can we just talk through for a second all the various violent things Reddington does in this episode? Because this even jarred me a little bit, because I think we have, I don't want to say a softer Reddington in Season 9, but
we have one who's just a little more, he chooses his violence very carefully now. He's not as quick to sort of run into guns a-blazing sort of thing. But no, you're right. It was quite like, whoa.
There's like death, there's him throwing the woman in the closet, but the whole closet thing to me, it's still like, it's so demented, but the line, the way Spader reads it of, I can't see where you are in the closet, so I would hate to shoot you in a spot where it's like, oh, okay, Reddington, this poor woman.
Yeah, it was a lot more violent than we see him now. That is for sure. He's changed. And I know that there's been, fans out there that are fine with it and fans out there that are like, oh man, I wish we had the old Red. And I understand that. But the thing that this show has done really well that not a lot of other shows do as well as this is they actually grow with the characters, changes and things that happen to him, and that the things that actually are happening to him are changing him, which is what would happen in real life. Like, he's gone through so much in all these seasons that he would be where he is now. He wouldn't be that same person.
It's important for shows to evolve. Like, that's just like really the thing. If we were watching the same Reddington now that we were seeing in Season 1, it'd be like, well, what is the point of the past 9 seasons, right?
Yeah, you want to see characters evolve over time. I mean, NCIS did this a little bit with Gibbs in the last few seasons where he was evolving, and it was the same pushback. There was a group of people that were just like, I don't want to have this. I wanted him to be the same as he always was for, all these seasons. But it's kind of like, for me, I really liked that his character had some growth and had some change. You can only watch the same thing so much.
Well, let's talk about the Blacklister here, the Good Samaritan, aka Carl Hoffman, because this would have been, I think, a really good Blacklister to bring into Season 10 if, things worked out a little bit differently, just because it's got a very specific MO, and I think if you're doing something where you're bringing back a character after like 8 or 9 years, you want it to be easy for people to sort of remember who they are, what they do, the whole idea of, oh, I'm taking out people who do bad things. It's sort of like a twist on Dexter Morgan or some of these other vigilantes. I think it would be at least easier for people to identify that.
I agree. I think that people would be able to, pick him out of a lineup and be like, hey, I remember you all these years later. But the connection to Reddington is just not really there. So a lot of this goes back to this list that Wu Jing has. And if he went to him and was like, hey, by the way, Red's an informant, he'd be like, huh?
Yeah, no, it's true. There's not really, there wouldn't be a huge sort of motivation here. Like, it's a weird episode because I feel like in some ways it's forgettable. Like, this is not like one of the first 10 or 20 episodes I kind of think about at the back of my mind. But when I watch it, I do kind of genuinely enjoy it. Like, the actor playing the Good Samaritan, I had to look up his name here. Frank Whalen, I think is his name. And or maybe Frank Whaley. Apologize to you, Frank, but he's
the guy who's in everything.
I know.
That you see his face and you're like, oh, this guy.
Yeah, he is like the total, I know you. And then you just like sit there and you pause and you stammer because you can't actually remember their name.
Yeah.
Like, he's very good at this particular role, but yeah, it's just, there's nothing that's explicitly that memorable about him or this episode beyond the premise.
No, but we did get more sort of a deep dive into who is the mole and how did they find out about, the post office and everything that was going on there in Reddington, and how was Anslo able to actually do all of this? Like, he had to have had insider help.
Yeah, and he has it courtesy of, at least on one level, there's another thing out there, but Newton Phillips ends up being the traitor. He was sort of forced into it because of some threats against his family, and then Reddington is just like, you gotta go, and all of a sudden we lose this character who was like one of the first people we see in the pilot with Reddington. And it always makes me wonder, is like, did you guys have different plans for this guy and you were just like, it's not working, let's just kill him off now?
Well, I mean, listen, his character really wasn't working that well.
No.
I mean, not for me anyways. It was, he just didn't fit in, and I don't know why. Like, it just felt like he didn't have a connection really strong with Reddington. At least it wasn't coming across like his relationship with Dembe, where it's like, oh man, you can really see how close they are. It just didn't feel like it was there the way that it was with other characters. So when he was like, oh, my family was threatened, and Reddington was kind of like, well, I could have helped you with that, but you chose a different path and we're here now. I was just like, I don't feel that bad about losing this character. I'm sorry.
No, you don't need to be sorry.
I'm sorry.
I don't feel bad either. And it is, like, this is one of those, like, ultimate TV mysteries where, we wouldn't know the answer unless we were, like, Bokenkamp or John Eisendrath or, like, one of these people, because, like, things so much change from when the pilot is shot to, like, where the show is and, like, midway through season 1, season 2. Like, we've talked a little bit about them sort of going back and changing the fire and Liz's age and all of that. I wonder, like, if they could sort of go back, if they would have made it that Dembe was there with Reddington in the pilot, speaking to him before he went in to the FBI, because like, I go back now and I think about this pilot, and like, if we hadn't watched this show in like 8 or 9 years, it would take me a minute to even remember who this guy was. And it's like, why is this the guy Reddington is talking to before turning himself in?
No, I agree. I barely remembered him. I mean, I remembered him a little bit, but it was, and it's because of this. There wasn't that big of a connection between the two of them where I was really like feeling it for when he ended up having to kill him. I was just like, okay, next.
I think it's also just a really interesting parallel of what he does to Newton Phillips to what he does down the road with Marvin, where he does sort of handle things in a little bit of a different way. And It may just be because the time he spent with the FBI, maybe he's had character growth, maybe his attachment to Marvin is different. But I like to think it goes back to what you said earlier about evolution, that is okay.
Yeah, and I think it needs to be okay. I think it's really tough with TV in general because we get really attached to the characters that we meet, and as we meet them, we kind of expect them to just stay the same because nobody likes change, and we don't want to see things change and evolve. But, it is the way that it is. And so on Reddington's side, he's found who the mole is, but he's, talked to the task force and basically like, I have found out the problem on my side, but they wouldn't have been able to do it without a problem on your side. So you guys need to clean up your house and figure out what is going on.
There's a lot of interesting stuff that's going to be coming up through all of this. The By the way, the Aram and Reddington scene, probably one of my favorite scenes in this whole episode. I love James and Amir whenever they work together, and this is just great.
Yeah, because it was being set up that Aram was going to be, he's under this alias and he's stealing all this money and he's doing all this stuff and, this very quick test to show that he's able to move this money quietly, quickly, within like a couple of minutes. Why would he then leave a trail kind of thing? That it was a quick way to expose that Aram isn't behind this.
It's also just a quick way to show how good Aram is, at his job.
Yes.
This is like a spotlight on him. I think it's in the moments like this that they're starting to be like, oh, this guy's really working. We need to be giving this guy a lot more material.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, this episode, I think it really sort of projects itself into everything we see moving forward. We got a little bit of Diane Fowler. We got a lot more good stuff coming here. So stick with us as we continue this rewatch and hopefully get some more season 10 news along the way.
Yep. As soon as we have more news on season 10, we will be here on Fridays talking about it.
All right. Well, hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you here next time.